Whenever you're playing Modern Warfare 2, do you ever wish that your accuracy was good enough to the point where enemies actually ask you to teach them to hack?
Say, bro, you gonna teach me how to hack like that? You gonna teach me how to hack like that, big dog? Nah, dude, come on, teach me to hack. I'm trying to do it, dog.
Look on my YouTube for legitimacy. Or do you ever wish that the opponents actually accuse you of wall hacking and having the ability to see them through walls even though you're not a perfect player?
No, I'm talking about them wall hacks y'all ass be using. Quit playing with me, boy. Like I can tell on the kill cam y'all walling. No, bro. Turn them off, man. Turn them off, bro. I know it's easy.
My name is Hero, and I'm one of the top performing players here in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. I have crazy feeds with multiple guns, a nuke with every single gun in the game of Modern Warfare 2. Legit, if you type in MW2 Hero in the search bar of YouTube and you type in the name of any gun, you will see that I have a video on that gun and I have a nuke with it, which is incredible. I have over 1,000 nukes slash MGBs across my entire playtime of Modern Warfare 2. And I have Modern Warfare 2 ranked play loadout videos to make sure that the audience that watches me is performing at their highest level and is optimized with the best weaponry in the game. Not only in MW ranked play, but also Warzone ranked play. And why do I state all of this? Well, in today's video, I wanted to give you guys my updated Season 5 Reloaded settings so that you guys can continue to shred and perfect your aiming ability so that you're able to get the stickiest aim possible, be more on point, and maybe even get some accusations like I do in my videos.
Cheating ass motherfucker. Watched every single one of your fucking kill cams. You were trailing me through the wall as I was coming around every fucking time.
I want to give you the best PC, controller, console, graphics, audio, all sorts of settings so you guys can continue to dominate the streets of Modern Warfare 2. So if you're hyped for all of that, stay tuned. Okay, so here we are with my settings. Before deep diving into them, I just wanted to remind you guys that there should be something here for everybody. I am going to be covering both PC and console settings so that everybody can be accounted for. And just keep in mind, this is just me updating my settings and letting you guys know, what my settings are currently. I usually don't change much, so don't be mad if something hasn't changed from like some of my previous settings videos. I'm just here basically to answer questions of like, what are my current settings? At the end of the day, I just hope I can give you the stickiest aiming settings so that you guys can have some very fun moments like I do here on Modern Warfare 2. Before moving forward, comment down your KD as of right now. I want to see if by Season 6 that your KD has improved any, more or less. Because if you comment your KD right now, you can see your improvement from now until, Season 6, which would be really cool. I want to see if I can make some kind of a difference with my settings or my class setups here on YouTube. And additionally, definitely drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on those post notifications. Not only do I upload settings here, but I upload best class setups, entertaining gameplay, funny moments, all within my videos. If that interests you, I'm just glad that you're even here with me right now. In fact, we're extremely close to 200,000 subscribers. We're around like 1,600 subs away, and it'd be an honor to have you guys along with me for the launch of Modern Warfare 3, where maybe we will hit 300,000 subscribers, because legit last year we had just barely hit 100K, and it's just crazy to think about. Just thank you for being here. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and go into my settings. So starting it off, I do play on controller. I don't really know much about mouse and keyboard, so sorry to all my KBM users. But when it comes to my button layout, I typically play on bumper, jumper, tactical, flipped. And you flip by pressing this button here. It's the same for Warzone. And basically with bumper, jumper, tactical, flipped, I'm able to jump with L2 and aim in with L1, which is really nice for like jump shotting. And then I also drop shot by pressing R3 or the control stick. Stick and move is very similar to this as well, so if you play on stick and move, that also can help as well. But I've been playing this way since Black Ops 3 days, so back in 2015, I've been playing basically a decade on this controller setting, and it makes it so that I don't need to buy any special controller, and I can just easily keep my aim on my target while jump shotting or drop shotting, and really taking advantage of whatever movement there is here on Modern Warfare 2. It might take some time to get used to, but trust me, once you learn to play like this, it really helps you tenfold. Bumper ping is going to be off. Stick layout preset is going to be on default. Controller vibration, I keep it off. You can keep it on if you want. It's more of a placebo effect, more than anything else. I just feel like if I have no vibration on, then I can control my recoil better. Like I said, it's a mind game at that point. When it comes to horizontal stick and vertical stick sensitivity, I have them both on 8. And the reason why I have it on 8 is because it's not too slow and not too fast. Because if you have a lower sensitivity, you're gonna have way better accuracy, but you won't be able to turn on people as effectively. Whereas if you have a super high sensitivity, you're going to be able to turn on people way more effectively, but you might not have the best of accuracy in certain situations. So by having it somewhere in the middle, you're able to achieve basically both, you know, plots at the same time, being able to turn on people and having very good aim at all times, and that's why I like it personally. But if there's a certain sensitivity that you want to like stick to, what you can do is like go up by like 2 points, you know, play on this for like a week and then go up another 2 points, and then just kind of test that out for a little bit, you know, for as long as you need to, and just kind of feel where your sweet spot sensitivity is, you know, depending on how you feel as a player and depending on your game results, you know. It's obviously all personal preference, but I just play on 8. ADS sensitivity multiplier is disabled here because of the advanced settings that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. But I usually play on like 0.9 or whatever. When it comes to sensitivity multiplier here, it's just going to be all 1. You know, nothing really changes there. Vertical aim axis, all on standard. Aim down sight behavior, hold. I think this is all default here. Automatic sprint is going to be off. People always ask me, Hero, why don't you have automatic sprint on or automatic tactical sprint? And the reason being is because if I have automatic sprint or tactical sprint on, then the campers are going to have an advantage on me because I won't have as much control over my sprinting / movement behavior because I'm letting the game kind of like run for me. Whereas if I have automatic sprint off, I can be a little bit more snappy and be able to take out campers with a higher chance of success. And because there are a lot of campers on this game, having this off is going to help you in terms of your benefits. So definitely rock automatic sprint off. It'll help you a lot. Equipment behavior, hold. That's default. Weapon mount activation is default. Interact / reload behavior. For all my Warzone players, if you're playing Warzone, make sure to have it on prioritize interact. But if you're playing multiplayer, tap to reload is the best way to go. And for Warzone, why I say prioritize interact is the way to go is because instead of like holding square to loot or holding X or whatever you know, key it is on keyboard and mouse, you just pretty much tap square or X and you pick up the loot immediately. Instead of holding square to open a door, you tap square or whatever to open a door immediately. Like, it's the tap of a button. Those little microseconds that you spend, you know, saving is really key. So prioritize interact for Warzone, whereas tap to reload for multiplayer. And obviously, if you're a Warzone player, always have armor plate behavior at apply all, so that you can apply your armors as you're walking away or running away from your opponents. It's a super key tactic. Moving on to the advanced controller settings, target aim assist, we're going to keep that on because, you know, we need as controller players to have our aim assist on, and we piss off, you know, PC and keyboard and mouse players because they think aim assist, you know, controls all. It might be a little bit powerful, but I don't care. I'm gonna give myself whatever advantage I want. You know, if you're complaining about controllers, you know, run a controller, run aim assist, man. Nobody's telling you not to. But yeah, have that on. Aim assist type is going to be on default. People like Black Ops at times. I switch between the two every so often. As long as you're using Black Ops or default, you should be fine. Just don't use precision or focusing because you do lose aim assist in certain situations when it comes to precision and focusing. Precision actually not bad for sniping, but I still wouldn't recommend it. I just recommend default or Black Ops at the end of the day because you're gonna have aim assist at all times. And when it comes to third person ADS correction type, it's very similar. Just make sure it's on assist because it's kind of similar to aim assist type. It'll give you the most amount of aim assist. Now when it comes to aim response curve type, I have mine on dynamic. It gives you the best, stickiest aim, I guess you could say. It allows your aim to be more towards your opponents, and, you know, you can control it in such a way that you can actually control your shots. Standard and linear, you know, not many people like really stick to those because the pros more so use dynamic, and I have used dynamic since Model for 2019, and that has always served me extremely well. So use it for yourself, but at the end of the day, it is personal preference. Use whatever you feel are most comfortable with. ADS sense multiplier focus 1, ADS sensitivity transition timing instant, custom sensitivity presumed. This is why my ADS sensitivity was like blacked out or whatever on my regular settings, is because I have a different one for each scope. So when it comes to low zoom and 2x/3x zoom, I have it on 0.9, so I can be a little bit more stickier with my aim, and I can really aim for those opponents, you know, with better accuracy. But when it comes to the higher zoom optics, because it just feels kind of bulky to aim with them, I want a little bit more, you know, swinginess with them, or more sensitivity, and be able to move them faster. And that's why I have them on 1.20. You can either keep those all uniform, or, you know, adjust if necessary, but this is the way I like it personally. When it comes to inputs dead zone, I have it, you know, pretty much I have dead zones on because I'm very sensitive when it comes to my left trigger and right trigger. especially with my right trigger, sometimes I'll, you know, use my freaking... Sometimes I'll throw my drill charge out of nowhere because it's super sensitive. So I have my freaking dead zone all the way high so that I have as much, you know, of a blockage as possible. But if you want to have the fastest, you know, firing trigger, the fastest ADS trigger, you would put this all the way to 0 so that you could really be snappy, you know, on both left trigger and right trigger. Left stick and right stick, I feel like you should just keep it on default here because it is going to help you the most. But left trigger and right trigger, you should try to keep them as low as possible if you're not as sensitive with your triggers like I am. It's just so annoying. But a controller orientation up. When it comes to gyro stuff, I don't really cover that. I don't use it. I don't care for it in any single way. You know, if you want to move with that, you know, do so. But it's just not something that I'm going to personally cover. Next up, we got sprint/tactical sprint behavior. I got that on toggle, which is default, I believe. Auto move forward, very similar to automatic sprint. I have it off so I can actually be in control of my character and take care of the campers. Tactical sprint behavior is going to be double tap, ground and mantle on, airborne. I think all this is pretty much regular. When it comes to invert, slide, and dive behavior, some people like inverted so that you can dive a little bit more, and it's very useful on like on Warzone and stuff, especially on Vondel. But I just keep it on standard just because I do play multiplayer a bit more. And I'd rather use my slide more than like dive or whatever the case is. And then all of this, parachute auto deploy should be off so you can control when you parachute. And then all this is default. And I believe the rest of this is default as well. So yeah, now that we're done with controller, let's go ahead and move into graphics settings. Now when it comes to the PC graphics settings, I'll be covering console graphics settings here in a little bit. Here's my specs in case you guys are wondering. I have a 3080 Ti, like 64 gigabytes of RAM or whatever the case is, some really cool build. And there's nothing here that you should really know. Where we're going to go to is quality here. And when it comes to render resolution, it's typically good to keep it at 100. But if you feel like you're not getting the most frames as much as possible in either Warzone or multiplayer, and you want a little bit more frames, then I would say you know, it's not a bad thing to lower it to like 90 or 80. Especially because I play on 1440p to have a better resolution than most. So I can like sacrifice some render resolution personally. But if you're playing on like 1080p already, I would try to keep it at 100 as much as possible because then the game gets kind of uglier. But playing on 1440p, it's a life changer. When it comes to upscaling/sharpening, Fidelity FX Cast, you know, it's what I use, and I have it at 90 here on my PC. Anti-aliasing is going to be SMAAT2X. Anti-aliasing quality low, video memory scale 80. If you have problems with your PC or you feel like something's buggy, bump it up to 90. But I feel like 80 is like the sweet spot. Texture resolution low. If you want even more frames, you know, lower it to very low. But I like making the game look as at least decent as possible for you guys so you guys can enjoy. When it comes to texture filter anisotropic, I have it on normal just for, you know, sake of video content creation. But if I wanted more frames, I would do low, you know, just put it all the way to low. Nearby level of detail low, distant level of detail high because I want to be able to see, you know, things in the distance a little bit more clearly in case I want to pick out like a camper or whatever the case is or somebody at far range. Collider draw distance short, particle quality high, just so you guys can see the bullet trails and stuff a little bit more cleaner for the videos. Otherwise, you can keep it low if you want. It doesn't make like a huge difference, I say. Particle quality level high, bullet impacts on, persistence damage layers off, shader quality low, tessellation off, on-demand texture streaming off, streaming quality low, volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality off, water quality default, or sometimes I like water or wave wetness. It's kind of nice. Shadow map resolution very low. Screen face shadows off, spot shadow quality low, spot cache low, particle lighting normal just so you can see some of the bullets and stuff, ambient occlusion off, screen space reflections off, static reflection quality low, weather grid volumes low, NVIDIA reflex low latency. Make sure this is on. Usually on is like the best way to go because it's just it gives you the best frames. But if you want to experiment with this a little bit more, you could also do on plus boost, like play with both and see what gives you like better performance. I would say on is typically the best way to go, but for some, you know, PC/ builds, on plus boost is pretty good. Depth of field has got to be off. If you have it on, then you're gonna actually have like out of focus regions appear blurry, which is not good. And you don't want anything to be blurry for you because if something is blurry, then you're not going to be able to see it as clearly, which is not good. When it comes to world motion blur and weapon motion blur, it's pretty much the same story as depth of field. We do not want blur. If we have blur, like we're turning a corner and we see something in the distance that's blurry, it's blurry. Like, do we know if it's a person or nothing at the window? We won't know. So just don't have blur on. It's going to completely destroy you as a player. It might look cool for like campaign and stuff, but if you're trying to play competitive here in multiplayer or Warzone, have it off. Film grain should also be 0 for similar reasons. When it comes to the view settings here, field of view, we're going to max that out all the way to 120. We want as much perspective as possible and be able to see our environment as much as possible. But when it comes to ADS field of view, you know, people argue between independent and affected, and a lot of YouTubers are going to tell you affected is the way to go, but I personally love independent. Now, the difference between these two is that if you're on affected FOV, ADS FOV, is like, since I'm on 120, once I ADS, I'll still be at 120 FOV. However, if I'm on independent ADS field of view, then I turn to 80 FOV whenever I ADS. And you might be arguing, Hero, you just said you want as much perspective as possible. Why would you be on 80 FOV if you're aiming down sights? And the reason being is that psychologically, if you're aiming down sights, that means you're trying to focus in on something, right? You're not really trying to seek anywhere else out, you know, technically speaking. So the objects are going to appear much bigger, you know, character models are going to appear much bigger, and thus it'll be easier for you to aim at those longer range distances and get those kills in at longer range way more easily on an independent FOV. So that's why I run independent. You could run affected if you want, but for me, independent really does help my gameplay, and it's just the way I like it, you know. Independent for the win. Weapon field of view should be wide because it makes the weapon look as smaller as possible, so you can have more space on your screen so you can see more of the environment. Third person field of view is going to be 90, so that you know, we have as much environment as possible. Vehicle field of view, make the vehicle as small as possible while you're driving. First person camera movement and third person camera movement should both be at least 50%, because if you have it at default or less, that means you're gonna have a little bit more recoil on your screen every time the camera shakes, and that's just not good. You want the least amount of camera movement as possible so you can control your gun or be more aware of whatever you're watching a lot more easily. And when it comes to these last few, you know, it's just all personal preference. But yeah, those are our PC settings, PC graphics settings. And now I'm going to hop on my PS5 real quick and give you guys some console graphics settings. So here we are now on my PS5 to show you guys my console graphics settings. So starting it off with details and textures, on-demand texture streaming, I just keep it off. World motion blur and weapon motion blur should both be off. I explained it in the PC section if you guys want to know more info. Same with film grain being 0, depth of field should be off so you don't see all the blurriness in the back. And then with Fidelity FX Cast, I have it on, and I have it at 52 just to make the game look a little bit more cleaner on the PS5/Xbox/ whatever console you're on. And when it comes to this 120 Hz refresh rate, if you're on PS5 or Xbox Series X/S and you have the necessary equipment to support it, make sure you have it on. You know, you're going to see your screen, you know, change, and it's going to turn into 120 Hz instead of 60 Hz. This is the advantage of having the current gen consoles, because being on 120 Hz means you're on 120 FPS, meaning that you'll have more of a better advantage in challenging PC players who also be around those numbers. You know, being on console, being on 60 FPS is a huge disadvantage, I would say. You know, I could still beast on 60 FPS myself, but those extra frames do make a huge difference. So if possible, definitely have that refresh rate on PS5 or Xbox Series X/S. Field of view is going to be 120. ADS field of view is independent. Weapon field of view is wide, so the gun is as small as possible. I explained all these in detail on the PC side. You know, it's the same settings, so if you want to hear my thoughts, go over there. Third person field of view 90. Vehicle field of view wide, so the vehicle is as small as possible. First person and third person camera movement should both be at least 50%. Because if you have it on anything else, you're going to get a bunch more recoil on your screen, and that's just not good for maintaining your accuracy in either sort of a situation. And then all of this is personal preference. And then for eco mode, you can obviously have this on personal preference as well. Have it on minimal. You could have it off. You could have it on full. More so to you to, you know, enable power saving features, as it says in the description. But yeah, with all these graphic settings on console done, let's go back on PC and go over my audio settings. And now here we are back on my PC, and I'm going to give you guys some audio settings here. Starting it off, when it comes to audio mix, I like PC. I started using it like obviously some months ago, and it's really helped me. But if I was on console, I would say like any of these really have like little difference. I think the only one I wouldn't recommend is cinema, but home theater is good. Headphones bass boost is good. Headphones is good. I just stick to PC because I felt like that worked for me. But if you're on console, try headphones bass boost, or home theater. I think those would be really good. And just see, you know, what is the easiest to hear footsteps with. but for me, PC has like worked out for me personally. When it comes to master volume, you want this either at 100, but because the game sounds are so loud in this game, I keep it on 80. But if I really wanted to hear everything, I would keep it at 100 because it's just that OP. But when it comes to the divisions of everything, gameplay music volume should be as low as possible. I still like hearing some of the music, so I keep it at 6 so I can hear a little bit of it. But you want to be able to hear, you know, the footsteps and everything else. Music isn't really all that important. The music in this season is actually really nice. When it comes to dialogue volume, I have that at 30, 40, or 50 so I can hear, you know, my enemies calling out, my team, you know, my actual character calling out and all that. Because being able to hear those things can actually help you in certain situations. Like I know 21 Savage says, oh, I got 1 mag left. So if you don't see, you know, that you have 1 mag left, at least you can hear that your character says you have 1 mag left, and you know to, you know, maybe throw an ammunition box or find another gun or switch to the secondary or whatever. So it's little moments like that that make dialogue volume kind of nice. Effects volume should be all the way to 100. This is going to help you hear footsteps, hear kill streaks, hear anything that you need to hear so that you can be prepared for your next gunfight and succeed here on multiplayer. Voice chat volume, people be having some messed up mics, so I have it at 50. If you want to keep it higher, you could, but like people's messed up mics, I would not recommend anything higher. When it comes to cinematic volume, it's pretty much the same as gameplay music volume. I just have it at 0 right now so that it doesn't interfere with the music that I'm going to put in the video. But this is more so for like main menu music, which is actually pretty good. So you can actually keep this high if you want. It doesn't affect your music in game. When it comes to war tracks volume, you know, that's up to you. I'm actually going to put this down a little bit because when I play Warzone and people have music in their thing, it gets kind of distracting. But when it comes to everything else here, I think everything else here is default for the most part. I don't think there's anything that we really need to change here. When it comes to subtitles, you know, I would say subtitles are actually pretty useful. As a YouTuber, I don't have subtitles on because it just looks kind of ugly for videos. But if I was not a content creator, like I would have subtitles on like easily, because if you see and read the callouts, you can react to that faster than hearing the callouts, especially because there's a lot of action sometimes in Call of Duty, so sometimes like callouts are delayed or whatever the case is, so they just don't appear. So being able to see the subtitles is going to, you know, help you in the long run. So I would say have subtitles on, but because I'm a YouTuber, you know, I don't want the game looking like ugly or anything like that, so that's why I don't have it on. And then everything else, reduce tinnitus sound, up to you whether you want to have tinnitus sound on or off. It could help you with like concussion or flash grenade shell shock. Juggernaut music, that's you know, optional. Classic hit marker sound effects is up to you. But yeah, that is our audio, and now let's move on to interface settings. Now when it comes to interface here, when it comes to my color customization, I just keep everything, you know, typically on default here, so you can change that if you want, or you can leave it the same like me. Subtitles, we already talked about that. When it comes to minimap shape, make sure you're running square. If you're running round or the circle, that's very bad because the square gives you more surface area and you're able to see more of the area of the minimap with a square instead of a round circle. So do not run the round. That is going to mess you up badly. Minimap rotation should be on. Keep on the horizontal compass because that actually helps you whenever you don't have a UAV and you got to rely on the compass to see any like red rings or red diamonds, and then, you know, kind of figure out where enemies are from that. So keep that on. Crosshair is static so that you can have a little bit more secure aim, even though it's just a visual effect. In my opinion, it does help you like keep aim a little bit better. Hit markers visual on, damage based hit markers on, player name's full name, in-game text chat on, vehicle hub prompts center dot. Keep this on and center dot scale largest so that you have a little dot in the middle, and that way you just kind of like are able to like retain your aim a little bit better. In my opinion, it does help your aim a lot, even though it's technically just like a visual thing. It technically shouldn't help you that much, but in my eyes, I think it does. And then when it comes to telemetry, you know, it's obviously up to you. I love to have FPS counter so I know how much frames I have. Server latency and packet loss are nice so that I know if I'm lagging or not. And then everything else might be default here. Inverted flash, you know, keep that on or off depending if you want to get blinded by light or blinded by darkness whenever you get flashbanged, you know, either or. And then yeah, that should be pretty much it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these you know, these settings. Just wanted to give you guys my updated settings. I usually don't change much like I usually do, and hopefully this helps somebody out there. Thank you guys always for love and support. We got some banger videos on the way, and if you guys want to see some rank play loadouts, I will be uploading that tomorrow. Keep being the best, and just know I love you all. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see these gameplays live, then make sure you guys follow me on my Kick stream at kick.com/themarkofaHero. I interact with the chat, and we have a good old time roasting ragers and nuking fools. I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/themarkofaHero, and you'll see a lot of the same action on there. And I also plan to stream on YouTube on my Hero Shorts YouTube channel. I'm not only going to be uploading shorts on there, but I will be live streaming there as well if you want to stay on YouTube. I really love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being a beautiful audience. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay awesome and keep being big ballers. I love you all. Shout out to the channel members as well. You're incredible.